Welcome to a series called the Book of Enoch, where we're going through the Book of Enoch verse by verse to get a better understanding of what it'll be like in the days of Noah. And there's great insight into the secrets of heaven and how we interact with God and how he plays out things. It's very critical to read this book. And as we've gone through it, where we are is the watchers have fallen. They laid with women, gave birth to a rise of Nephilim. God has now punished them. He's given Enoch the authority to reprimand them and showed Enoch because he petitioned on their behalf, and he showed them, no, here's their consequences, which is you're separated from heaven, you're separated from God, you're going to be bound in this earth until the end of the world, and your children are going to kill each other and you're going to watch them die first. It's pretty brutal. So we're just going to pick it up there where we left off. Enoch 14, verse 7. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. And the vision was shown to me thus: Behold, in the vision, clouds invited me, and a mist surrounded me. And the course of the stars and the lightning sped and hastened me. And the winds in the vision caused me to fly and lifted me upwards and bore me into heaven. And I went in until I drew nigh to a wall, which is built of crystal and surrounded by tongues of fire, and it began to affright me. And I went into the tongues of fire and drew nigh to a large house which was built of crystal, and the walls of the house like a tessellated floor made of crystals. And its groundwork was of crystal. Its ceiling was like the path of the stars and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim, and their heaven was clear as water. A flame fire surrounded the walls, and its portal blazed with fire, and I entered into that house. And it was hot as fire and cold as ice. There were no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling got a hold of me. And as I quaked and trembled, I fell upon my face, and behold a vision. And lo, there was a second house, greater than the former. And the entire portal stood upon before me, and it was built of flames fire. And in every respect it so excelled in splendor and magnificence and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floor was of fire, and above it was lightnings, and the path of the stars, and its ceiling also was a flame of fire. And I looked, and saw therein a lofty throne, its appearance as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. And there was the vision of a cherubim. And from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. And the great glory that sat thereon, and his raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. Now, I'm going to pause there real quick because it's fascinating to see this, primarily because what happened here is he was taken up in the spirit into the throne room of God. And every time we see a prophet see the throne of God, like Ezekiel saw it come down, he saw the wheels, he saw the crystal, he saw the crystallized throne, he saw him light up like the sun, to be brighter than the sun. Like he saw all the same things that Enoch saw, but it came down. Whereas when John was brought up into heaven through the Spirit into the throne room of God, he saw these same things. So I'm going to go there real quick to Revelation. We'll go to 4:1. And after these things I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking with me, saying, Come up here, and I will show you things which must take place after this. Immediately I saw in the Spirit, and behold, a throne set in heaven, and one who sat on the throne. And he who sat there was like a jasper and sardius stone in appearance. And there was a rainbow round the throne in appearance like an emerald. Around the throne were 24 elders, and on the throne I saw 24 elders sitting clothed in white robes, and they had crowns of gold on their heads, and from the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. 7 lamps of fire were burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. Before the throne there was a sea of glass like crystal, and in the midst of the throne and around the throne were 4 living creatures full of eyes in front and in back. The first living creature was like a lion, and the second living creature was like a calf, and the third living creature had the face of a man, and the fourth living creature was like a flying eagle. it's really kind of an exciting thing to see, especially because, when Jude brought up Enoch in the book of Jude, and he said, according to the prophecy of Enoch, and then he quoted the book of Enoch. I think it's important that we see him as a prophet. I'm not arguing that it belongs in the Bible, and I'm not arguing it doesn't. What I'm saying is I believe Enoch was taken up into heaven, and this is the vision that he saw, and he wrote it down. And here John is taken up in the Spirit thousands and thousands of years later, and he sees the same thing. It's really kind of a beautiful thing. So stay with us. We're going to keep digging. Again, beautiful series. It's a lot of fun coming to the cave and filming it. I think Benjamin's starting to get used to the cave a little bit. It's always a little creepy for both of us, but it's a lot of fun coming here. So there you go. God's throne is the same now as it is then, and they're just seeing the same thing. Any thoughts or insight, definitely put that below. I do want to take a moment and say most people watch this channel, they're not subscribers. Take a moment, hit that subscribe button. It greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests, and never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.